Hello and welcome to Onesies, a podcast of one season wonders and blunders. My name is Andrew.
Hi, I'm Emily.
We are working our way through Joe's life, aka Emily's next ABC sitcom from the late 80s, early 90s that she has chosen to torture us with
Wait for
some.
that Get Smart revival.
Is it gonna be this bad? Can it be this?
I think it can be worse. Andy Dick. Andy
I
Dick.
liked him on news radio.
Well, after this was over, he did news radio.
There you go. Okay, but that's her threat for 2 seasons from now. Next season, we haven't decided though. I did find something.
Ooh.
Yes, it's probably from ABC, but from 1987. Okay, so we are actually Joe's Life, episode 4, entitled "Ladies Drive White Cars." What's it called?
Shopping something. We're so excited about this that we are all ready to go. Joe's Life. Shop in... scroll up to the top. Shop in the name of love. Oh, ha ha ha. Shop in the name of love.
Well, you know what women are really good at?
Shopping.
Shopping. You know what men are really bad at?
Shopping.
That's right. Which raises some questions about Joe's attire. Okay. So I guess do you have 3 things, Emily?
So I don't have 3 things.
Oh, okay.
Because this whole episode was incredibly sexist and I just couldn't get over it. But I'd like to talk about women aging and Mary Page Keller in particular. And I'm gonna steal your white convertible because I've got some fun things to talk about with white convertibles.
Okay.
And Tori Spelling.
Okay. Let's see. Oh God. I don't even know. The lime green vest disaster of 1984. The Easy Bake Oven.
Oh yeah.
Which is actually super duper fucked up when you think about this in the context of Joe loving to cook. It's also that Curb with Michael J. Fox. Did you watch that one?
Yes, but I would need a reminder. Was it part of the when it got really bad when it came back?
No. Well,
Okay.
no, it's not that. It's yes, it's part of after he's swimming with the sharks, but no, it's not that terrible one. And
Okay.
it's the best episode of this season, and it's a shame that Michael J. Fox wasn't on all of them. But we'll talk about it when we get there, because we'll be like, we should be watching a different show. Let's see. Other options include Ray's Date. Springsteen references. Oh, how about her daddy, the man she worships?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So the episode starts with Joe making breakfast for the kids. And the boys are arguing about who's hungrier. And Joe says something about them not behaving this way at grandma's, which
I was hoping for maybe some further development on that.
Yep,
like maybe a special guest appearance, maybe just some acknowledgement that life exists for these kids outside of this house.
Spoiler alert, there's a party scene where you would think grandma would be there. If
Yes.
she is one of the extras without a line.
Yeah.
None of the extras actually have a line in that scene. So they all go unpaid and uncredited, or not unpaid, but uncredited.
Yeah.
No SAG cards for them. Okay. So they complain, but they're making food for mom because it's her birthday.
Yes.
Joe talks about how he got her a great present, the best present. Never seen a present like this before. To which Amy says, "Is it a present for all the women in the house?"
Yeah.
To which Joe starts singing Happy Birthday to Sandy and says, "No, it's just for Sandy."
Once he gets to the mom part. And it's like, yeah. So also, I find it interesting that this conversation is happening in light of what Joe's present or gift giving strategy is that we find out in the next
Well,
scene.
yes, he is lying to his children, is just what's going on.
And making it seem like he's the perfect gift giver when,
Yes.
in fact, he has no idea how to shop for his wife.
We'll get to it in a sec. Don't spoil it. We've got the 20 years old thing. Yes. So then Sandy calls in, I'm ready. And then she comes in to a celebratory birthday girl thing, which is kind of weird because it's forcing the kids to celebrate mom in a way that seems a little manipulative, but whatever, it's fine. That's why
Yeah,
you have kids.
I found it kind of funny though that it was like, I'm ready. I think it was the most comedic she's been. They've allowed her character to be.
Yes, especially considering she's going to get fucking hysterical. Because you know who gets hysterical?
Women,
Ladies.
especially middle-aged ladies.
So then mom sits down at the table, and Scotty Jean, who's already told us that he's getting her a handprint in clay. And last year he got her the right hand, and this year he's getting her the left hand or some shit like that. He's like, how old are you, mom? And mom ignores him. And he's like, how old are you, mom?
Yeah.
How old are you, mom?
She's having a facial reaction.
Mhm.
She's doing some acting with her face.
With her face. And she goes, how old do you think I am, Scotty Jean? And he says, 20. And she's like, oh, I've been validated.
You're my favorite.
You're my favorite. And then she says, I can't eat my birthday breakfast. Bye. I got to get to work. I have to get in early to my temp job. Now, I don't know if you've ever worked a temp job.
Never.
Do you know what the one thing you don't have to do?
Come in early.
Early because they don't have anything for you to do because you don't work there.
Yeah.
Like you are. Okay. So they're going to have a party tonight. Everybody remember to bring presents, blah, blah, blah. They go into the laundry room, which is an adjoining set, which I thought was pretty. We've got another adjoining set to talk about a little bit later. But Joe comes in and he's like, so what did I get you? She's like, what, Joe? And she's like, I forgot to buy you the present you're getting me.
Yeah.
Oh no. Sandy, we've got a system here. You know, I can't buy you gifts. Don't you remember the lime green vest disaster of 1984? To which she says, that was fine, except it was glow in the dark. During this scene, the boom mic lowers into the frame.
I saw the boom.
Yep.
I saw the boom.
Yep.
I was like, boom. And I just didn't write it down because I didn't write anything down.
So this is one heck of a production here. I mean, Game of Thrones had a can of Diet Pepsi or whatever. So
or a Starbucks cup or something. I don't know. Fucking cares.
Okay, so then we get the credits, and we also got some cool commercials. Lori Loughlin was in Sidney Sheldon's "A Stranger in the Mirror."
I skipped that, so I don't think I saw those commercials, but I watched some of the other ones.
I skipped the Home Improvement, which I probably shouldn't have because I'm convinced it was less sexist than this, and that could have been with Tim Allen showing everyone his penis. So, by the way, yes, Tim Allen. Family Values man Tim Allen sexually harassed at least Pam Anderson, probably the next lady too. Anyway, but there was a commercial for a Lori Loughlin TV movie with Christopher Plummer.
Oh, what a weird mix.
And Perry King, but that's where he belongs, TV movies. Okay, so now we are going to the restaurant during the day. Now, I don't know if you remember, listeners, I know Emily remembers this. Joe has taken on a partnership in the restaurant, meaning he's no longer unemployed.
Right.
Pin in that. We see someone else in the kitchen, which I think is maybe the first time we've had a non-speaking extra in the kitchen that Joe's talking to. But then he goes in to see Stan and asks Stan what Stan gets Barb, Mimi Kennedy, for her presents. And Stan says, for 24 hours, I'm at her beck and call.
And we pretend like it's not always this way. Wives, huh?
Wives, you're just whipped. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So then he's like, Joe, just go to the mall. And he's like, I can't go to the mall alone. And he's like, you're right. Remember that time you were a kid and you went to Macy's when you were 12? Okay, I did not grow up in the East Coast, so I don't know if Macy's is different in New York, New Jersey. I don't think so. I bet it's even classier than it would have been in the Chicago area where I grew up. But I can see Joe going to Sears. I could see Joe maybe going to Field, though they don't have a Fields. Fields is Chicago. But
Feels of
like
Chicago.
a 12-year-old going to Macy's is fucking weird. The other thing is department stores sell everything at list,
Yeah.
like the toys. So like this was not, you were not getting even as good of a deal as you get at a Toys R Us. So it's like the dumbest anecdote ever. But he went to a department store and what did he buy himself? He bought himself an easy bake oven.
Ding, 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 ding. Toxic masculinity coming in. A boy cannot play with an easy bake oven.
So Joe is a cook. He's a chef. Joe, they even talk about how Joe made him little cupcakes, which they make sound problematic from a toxic masculinity thing. But he liked cooking.
Yeah.
That's why he did the chef thing last episode.
Yeah. That's why you want him to be your chef because he cooks really well and
It's
your
always
customers
been an
like it.
interest
Yeah.
for him. Like, it's really dumb.
Now, marketing easy bake ovens towards girls, partly the manufacturer's fault, excuse me, but also like let your kid fucking cook.
Like, yeah. So, in the follow up to that story is not that dad made him take it back or something. It's just that, he made cupcakes for his big brother who liked them.
And Stan ate them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You thought that was bad, but just wait.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Ray comes in and they're like, Ray, did you get your car fixed? And Ray's like, nah, I just traded it in. Wasn't worth it. I got a new K80.
I don't know what this car is. I was going to investigate.
I don't think it's real.
I don't think it's real either.
It's a white convertible. It's a chick magnet. And they said, what did set you back? And he's like, set me back enough that I'll be living in it, but it'll be worth it because I'll have all the ladies.
Yeah. He's going to be a poon hound now because he's got a white convertible.
He's also got a fucking girlfriend, apparently, which we'll talk about in a bit. She just doesn't have any lines because they're cheap. Okay. How come she's his girlfriend? Because she's the only black lady at the party. Okay. So, but yes, so he tells them it's a white convertible and they're like, oh no, we would have stopped you, Ray. It's a girl car. It's a girl car, Ray. My note for this was micro penis men. But yes.
My note was no gay F words.
Well, no, because
I mean, it's ABC. It's 1993. They did everything short of calling him the gay F word.
Because he's too much of a lady, right?
Oh.
So, yeah. They showed pictures of who's driving the car in the ad. And based on the picture of who's driving the car, in the advertisement, it's a girl's car. Hey. And sadly, Stan participates in this too. So Stan can go eat shit too. Yeah. But then we go and see that Amy and Leo are getting in with the party decorations for later. So that's not great for Amy. Leo, of course, is played by convicted rapist Danny Masterson. 30 years, did you say?
At least
30
August
years.
4th is the date.
Ashton Kutcher's going to be so sad. Okay. So he just can't know. Ashton Kutcher just can't know. Because that's what you say when you help people. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that slander? Never mind. That's what you would say if you did that. Anyway, so then Amy's like, I saw this bitch in white K80 convertible in the parking lot. that was awesome. It's like the one Tori Spelling drives. To which we had some discussion about
Some
this reference.
pre-pod discussion. And so
Yes.
so 90210 started in 1990, so it was a going concern.
Okay.
Um
She was the rich girl on 90210, but so was
they
Jenny
were
Garth.
all rich girls.
They were,
It's
well,
Beverly Hills.
Shannon Doherty wasn't supposed to be as rich. And Gabrielle Kateris, in addition to being older than Mary Page Keller, was also not rich. She had a job. She had to work at the Steak Shack or whatever that place was called.
Oh yeah, the Peach Pit.
The Peach Pit. But we were trying to figure this out. Like, why is Tori Spelling the reference point here? And you were like,
I said that she could have just been some sort of like Hollywood rich brat
but
character type.
Jersey. It's very weird. It's very weird.
Well, when I was a kid, I was not a troublemaker at all.
You waited.
I waited. I waited till I was adult and I could be held responsible in a court of law to get into trouble.
It's not how you do that. As a white man, let me tell you,
no.
you can only be considered a kid until you're about 63 years old.
My mom would use rich celebrity type young people to keep me out of trouble, like as examples, right? And it was never Tori Spelling, but it was like your favorite Kiefer Sutherland because he was going through like drug problems at the time, you know? Like, oh, if you were, you know, the child of a rich person, you would have drug problems and you'd be horrible. So I'm wondering if it's just something like that. Like she was notorious for being kind of a baddie. I was a mere child at the time in 1990, so I don't know anything about Tori Spelling.
I feel like Jenny Garth would have been just fine too. Or one of the character names. I don't know.
But if that you're referring to something that actually exists, the car doesn't exist. So if you're referring to it, is there a K80 being driven by Donna in 90210? No, there's not, presumably. It's probably a Mercedes.
Probably not white either. No. White cars are the most safe, by the way, everybody.
Are they really?
Yep. Least amount of accidents in a white car. Okay. So Joe's like, hey, Amy, can you come with me to the mall and let's go shop? I need help shopping. And they're like, and she's like, fine, we'll go to the mall. So we then cut to the mall, which is a shitty photograph of a mall establishing shot.
Yeah.
They are really bad at the establishing shots.
Really bad.
And this was not like the era where you need to have a really good establishing shot, but you needed better than this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks like there's a picture of a mall from a brochure that they photographed. And this is where we're going to get into our weird adjoining sets. So we're in a store. It's a clothes store.
It's a department store.
A department store.
Because Amy goes through, we've been to this department and this department and this department. Yeah.
I have a list. I'm sorry. I know you didn't take notes, but some of us were prepared. And we took notes we started in sports casual. Then we went to generations. Then we went to point of view, to which Joe says, and now we're in hell, which, if it weren't so sexist, might be funny.
Yeah.
But then they're looking at stuff, and Joe's like, what about this? What about this? I don't speak knitwear is something Joe at one point says.
And Amy is dismissing these items that Joe is picking out. Oh, that's the wrong size. Oh, that's the wrong color. Oh, that doesn't look like something mom would wear.
Until she sees a lady who's shopping and says, that sweater that lady's wearing looks like something mom would wear. Go ask her where she got it. And I'm like, is this going to be part of the plot?
I immediately, because I grew up in the 80s and 90s and I am a person who exists in 2023, thought, oh God, she's going to think he's a creep. Oh God. Yeah. Or because this show took place in 1993, oh God, this is going to turn into like, she thinks she's getting hit on by him and he's going to have to like peel her off of him. I thought it was going one of those two directions, but no. Pretty much ends there.
It ends there because she says, oh, it's just a birthday gift from my husband.
Yeah, I don't know where I got it.
And Joe doesn't even make a joke about the guy's lack of masculinity for being able to buy a present. Also, we need to talk about Joe's shirt.
I didn't notice.
Joe's wearing a pink shirt.
Oh, I didn't notice
with
that.
four black rectangular blocks on it, outlines. And the whole time he's talking about his clothes, I'm just like, how he can't pick out clothes. I'm like, who bought you that shirt then? Like, who bought you that very 1992 pastel?
I am not allowed to buy clothes for my husband because I have quote unquote bad taste. Whatever. I buy him t-shirts that have dumb things on them, and he loves that. But my guess is that Joe is the type of guy who somebody buys him something, his kids buy him a tie for Christmas, his sister-in-law gets him a shirt, his mother buys him this. Notice it's only women who are buying him clothes, and he'll just wear anything. He doesn't care. That's my guess.
Okay. So then Amy asks where she got it, and he's like, France. Because why not just fucking lie to your kids some more? Especially, no stakes lying to your children.
Well, and he probably didn't want to dig any further. Like, give me your husband's phone number so I can call him and find out where he got you that sweater. He doesn't want to have to talk to people about shopping. He doesn't want to shop. He doesn't want to talk to people about shopping.
The whole thing is
The whole thing is terrible.
So then Amy's like, I need to go to the loo. And Joe's like, why do you need to go to the loo? And she's like, why do I need to what? And she's like, you can't come with me, Dad. You'll be fine. And he's whining. And then she's like, do you want me to make you hold my purse?
I thought that was, on Amy's part, that was fucking hilarious.
Hilarious. Joe looks like he would die.
Yes, Joe looks like he would die.
And it's just like, oh God, this is what ABC sitcoms were like. This is why NBC was able to smoke them. But then we get a very special guest star.
Very special guest star. I was not expecting her. I wasn't excited.
I guess it wasn't on whatever we read last week. But Jane Lynch shows up as the shop clerk.
She's about 3 inches taller than
Joe
and Peter Honorati. She's a tall, tall woman.
And so they talk about clothes, and Joe over explains that his wife's got a job and he's got a job, but it's more of a business partnership thing, and they're trying to take it to the next level, which has not been a plot point. We have not had any indication that there's anything wrong with the business the restaurant is getting.
No.
And they employ 2 full-time chefs now at this point or something. Anyway, but Joe, whenever Jane Lynch asks Joe a question about Sandy's clothes, he calls Amy.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, I forgot to mention, we did see where Amy went. She went into the adjoining cafe. There's just there's a mall restaurant adjoining this thing. It's fine. We're going to actually go in there.
If it's a department store, they have cafes and shitty diners and stuff inside of, go to Nordstrom. Okay. Go to Nordstrom. Go to Neiman Marcus.
It looks like a Wendy's. Okay. I think it's nicer. I'm just saying. I think it's nicer. Gonna go get a shitty
thing. It's New Jersey. Come on.
It's going to be very Jersey by the end. Sort of. But then, and it's also about to be very not Jersey. But yeah, so when he's talking about the job, he's like, well, I don't have a job anymore. It's not my fault. It's Reagan's fault. And I'm just kind of like,
I thought that was an odd little
it's odd because it's late too. We're into Bush 2 here.
Not Bush 2.
Bush 1.
Bush 1.
Joe lost his job recently. He didn't lose his job in the...
Well, everybody always blames the previous administration.
But nobody the people who... I don't know. Okay.
Just let him blame Reagan. Let Reagan take the heat. He's dead and he was a bastard and it was probably his fault anyway.
But Joe built weapons of mass destruction.
You know what? Every president has used weapons of mass destruction.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is it doesn't make any sense. Because he already blamed the end of the Cold War for him losing his job. Anyway, all right.
Well, anyway, so Jane Lynch is overwhelming Joe by talking about potential gifts for his wife. Joe is overwhelming Jane Lynch by talking about his job and who's to blame. And so you had mentioned that every time she asks him a question, he calls for Amy because he doesn't know what size, like if she's petite or not. So stupid. And when Jane Lynch gets overwhelmed by Joe, she calls for Amy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been funnier if both of them turned and called for Amy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I'm not employed to do punch up here. There's a writer's strike going on. It would have been funnier if something else had happened and just like that third beat, they both turn and call for Amy. Would have been funnier.
This show's worse than Morton and Hayes.
Is it?
I think
Morton and Hayes is bad because you have something to compare it to, like good double acts.
Mm-hmm. But you also can see...
I've never seen a good sitcom.
You've never seen a good sitcom?
Not an American one. What's that face? Give me an example of a good one.
Frasier. Frasier is an objectively good sitcom. It's also an objectively problematic one at times, but it's an objectively good sitcom.
I'll take your word for it. I've not seen it since it was on the air.
Okay.
So, and I was a child when it was on, so it probably didn't really hit me.
Okay. What about Seinfeld?
Oh, fuck you. Fuck off. Fuck off with Seinfeld. Fuck you.
Not that you can watch it anymore, anyone, because it's just way too problematic.
Jesus Christ. Why would you want to? Why are people so fucking obsessed with whatever? I'm done. I'm not going to go off on my anti-Seinfeld rant. Overrated.
That doesn't matter. It's still not bad.
Not good.
What are we talking about? Curb? Anyway.
I like Curb because they use swears.
It's a sitcom. Curb is still a sitcom. It's a situation comedy. MASH is objectively good.
MASH is good. Okay, MASH. I will accept MASH.
Plenty of objectively good MASH. All in the Family is objectively good.
I've not seen
Jeffersons is objectively good for much of it. Maybe all. I haven't seen all of it. The second Mike is terrible, or the second Lionel's terrible. Wait, yes, but the first one's great. And so, yes, that's quite often an objectively good. There are objectively good sitcoms. There might not be objectively good sitcoms in this subgenre of stupid husband, accomplished wife, or suffering way too good for him wife thing.
Yeah.
But also this turns that on the head by he's always right, which we're going to get to at the end too. Which is why I said the commercial for Home Improvement was probably better than the episode.
Yeah.
That's not how that show rolled. Okay. But then we cut to them Amy and Joe not having bought anything, hanging out in the adjoining cafe. And they are going to, Joe's bitching that there's no light in here. There are no windows. There's no sunlight. Wouldn't you rather be outside playing catch than hanging out in this mall all the time? Yeah, mall rat. We're cut off from life as we know it.
Yeah. I mean, it's very true, but in 1993, probably even more so, right? Malls have come a long way, even though they're dying.
They're dying. It was a mall that clearly had a big sunlit entrance.
Yeah.
So it kind of looked like one of my malls that had skylights. Yeah. Just saying. You had skylights by the 90s. Okay. So then Amy says, shopping's easy, Dad. And Dad says, well, it's easy for you, Amy, because you're a female.
You don't have a great big dong between your legs getting in your way.
Neither does he. But also, men don't shop, men buy. To which we then get this idiotic anecdote, which because I was like, okay, men don't shop, men buy. All right, let's hear an example of this that's like men don't look for a car, they buy the car and fix it. Men don't look for a pair of jeans, they buy the jeans and have their mom sew on the pockets or something like that.
Yeah.
No, instead, we get a story about how a caveman saw a fish on a beach and he hit the fish with a rock, and that was dinner. But a cave woman, she's got to find the right kind of rock to hit the fish with, and it's going to take her so long to find the right kind of rock that the man's going to beat himself to death with the fish before she even finds the rock.
Do you hear those crickets, folks? I'm not amused.
Were there laugh track over that? There must have been.
There must have been. I don't.
Oh, okay. So
there is a laugh track because at some point recently we discussed whether or not it was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
And based on the camera, it's not. Oh, and we also, I didn't watch the credits again. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, no. The joke ends with Joe saying, "Does this rock make me look too heavy?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My following note was, what the fuck is happening? Okay. So then the waitress comes over to take their order.
Right.
Joe's gonna, or no.
They start by ordering food.
So yes, they're gonna get a strawberry shake to share.
It's very cute.
It is like, for a second.
It is for a second. And I thought like, oh, this is kind of a cute moment. And then it gets a little bit more cute when you realize that this is like a little tradition that they have. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
it's going to go entirely to shit.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, this is so nice.
Yeah. By the end, it's going to go to shit.
Yeah. And they have conversations about, oh, you remember my favorite milkshake? And he says something about, oh, the one that you dropped and spilled all over your brother.
No. The one that made you throw up on your brother.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, disgusting. yes. I mean, can you please do that scene?
That's disgusting.
Just puke on Scotty Jean, but it was probably Paulie, who's at least mildly sympathetic. But no, it was the tonsil. It was the milkshake she had after she had her tonsils out because Dad went out in the middle of the night to get her fresh strawberries because he's a chef and he probably whipped it together on his easy bake oven or something.
You don't know how milkshakes work, do
you? So then he's like, I like that story. I come off really good in that story. And it's just
God, what an asshole.
You are fucking weird, dude. Yeah. So then he's going to call the restaurant to make sure everything's okay. Sure. He then goes to the payphone that is in the alcove adjoining the cafe that is adjoining the hell section of the department store, which also had robes in it. So it had...
Oh, right, because she offered a robe, right.
And he didn't get the robe or something. Yeah, it was very confusing. But Joe goes to the phone and Amy's friends come by. Hey, Amy, what's going on? Come sit with us. I can't. My dad... Wait, that's your dad? And he's like, yeah, I ran into him here. Why don't we go meet at the pizza place? That's cooler than here. And so we hear Joe's side of the conversation with Barb, where he's like, I'm spending quality time with Amy. And he's like, yes, my daughter, Amy, which actually becomes the subplot. So
yeah, again, we're more than halfway through this episode and we get a subplot.
We get a subplot. And then Joe goes back over the table and Amy's like, hey, Dad, my friends are here. I'm going to go hang out with them. You'll be fine on your own, even though the whole point of the episode at this point, and I have seen you not be fine on your own buying this present, but now you're going to be fine on your own.
Yeah.
Boom. We get the nice, sad womp womp with Joe sitting there, and there's the strawberry shake with 2 straws.
Yeah.
And it goes
and he pulls one of the straws out.
It's just so sad. It's just so sad. Aww. Okay. Commercial break. Restaurant. Joe and Barb are getting ready for the party. And so this is basically going to be, this is the end of the episode, except for our postscript, which is not as long as that other one, but it's kind of too long.
But I watched it this time. I waited.
It's not as good as the other one. It's not as good as the talking stuffed animals. It's not as good as Toy Story. But yes, so Joe's hurt and holding it in. And he's like, how do you know that, Barb? And she's like, because you're putting those flowers on the cake like shrapnel. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what does that mean?
I don't know what that means
Also,
either. Yeah.
did he learn how to make cakes with his easy bake oven? Because then maybe it's not a fuck you story. It's this is where you learned how to make cakes, Joe. Um, and then he's like, well, it was fine. But then, I just wanted her to think of me as her daddy, the man she worships. And it's just kind of like,
Blech.
cool.
Yeah.
That's fucking gross. And then Barb tells him to get over it. And he's an embarrassing old guy. And he's like, but I want to yell at her because that would make me feel better. But that wouldn't make the situation better. It would just make Joe feel better because verbally abusing your children makes you feel better. Hashtag ABC. Oh God, here we go. So then Ray's car alarm is going off in the lot, and
the old waiter guy,
and he says, "Call the beauty parlor and let that lady know her car alarm's going off." And so Ray's like, "That's it. I'm slapping a for sale sign on the Tory mobile." Okay, so Stan comes in. He's like, "All right, the restaurant's closed. The decorations are up. And we're ready to go for the party." So Joe's like, "Okay, well, we're having the good wine." And Stan's like, "We're having the good wine, but we're having it in little glasses."
Yeah.
And then Barb asks what Joe got her, Sandy, for her birthday, which we don't know because it cut away. And he says, "She's gonna love it. I could tell you what it is, but if I did, it would end my pathetic self-delusion."
We don't ever actually see it, right?
You're spoiling the big reveal. He gets her Marcellus Wallace's soul. Oh yeah, you get that reference. Can't make a Frasier joke. Oh no, that's can't talk about Frasier. We got to talk about it. Okay.
I can't wait for the episode where it's like solely focused on Mary Page Keller's feet.
solely. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's not sexual. Quentin Tarantino's never had a sexual reference in a single one of his movies. He said that on his podcast.
I believe everything I hear on podcasts.
As you should.
I only listen to ours when I'm editing it and the one other one that I listen to.
So Sandy comes in and she's very upset because she just got fired from her temp job.
Which is weird.
Which she had one more day. She got fired at the end of the day on a day she went in early.
And she's showing up to her party in her work clothes.
Yes.
All of this is very weird to me.
It's the worst birthday of her entire life. Honey, do you want to talk to me about it? No. This will be a repeating thing. Mary Page Keller yelling, no.
She's turned into so she's 32. The actress is 32.
Yes, the actress is
I did the math. If she was 32 in the episode and she had a 15-year-old daughter, she would have been 17 when she had that daughter. 7 babies. I'm not judging. I'm just saying your brain is still growing until you're 25. So like you physically might be able to care for a child. But
are you saying something about the armed forces trying to get people out of high school when they can't critically think? Are you trying to say something, Emily?
About that and about people who prey on children, especially men who prey on young women.
How old was Peter Honorati?
I don't know.
He's not 32. Okay. So that actually
Jesus. He's like 8 years older than her.
Well, that's fine. When she was 17.
17-year-old, a 25-year-old. We've seen that story before.
We've seen that story before. It's called the Dane Cook story.
Chris D'Elia, more like.
Okay. So little time, lot of love. Okay. So yeah, Joe's worried because he knows he got her a shitty present, so it's not going to work out.
So he's got her a shitty present. She's in a bad mood because she got fired. And she's maybe on the fence about getting older. She seems to be a little bit panicked about getting older, as per the scene where the son is trying to ask her how old she is, and she
Yes.
won't answer. So there's a lot of things. Oh
It's
my God, the
a very
drama.
weird
The
thing to keep from
drama.
your child is how old you are. Really weird thing.
My
Though,
mother was very troubled by aging. Um, I knew how old she was though. But she was very cagey about it. So this is something that I can feel.
well, also, like, were they married at 17 when she had Amy? Just saying. Was Joe picking her up in the high school parking lot for their dates?
Ugh.
Yes, yes, he was. Okay, so New Jersey, everyone. Sorry, but also okay. 1993. So this is also the only episode where she doesn't like sexually gratify him to make him feel better about
That's
himself.
true. That is true. That is true. She is going through her. That's the only positive thing you can say about this is even though she's acting like a petulant fool, she is going through something and she's not trying to hide it and she's not trying to help somebody else with her own, using her own emotional labor to make him feel better.
Okay. So we then cut to an exterior shot of the restaurant with a white, not convertible in front. It's like a fucking Toyota Tercel. And I'm just kind of like, did you guys, were you trying to do something and you didn't do it, or you just suck? Like,
oh God.
and the answer is they just suck.
Oh, it's
How
so
many
good.
more? Do we have 6 more of these? Okay.
They're so short. They go so fast.
Sort of.
So fast.
Okay. I enjoyed Dracula the series more than this.
I think I did too.
Yeah. Yeah. And we are never going to get a performance like Kim Coates.
Oh no.
No.
Not in this. No, no, no.
We're never going to get good Geordie Johnson.
I mean, the Mimi Kennedy chunks are so
They're
small.
tiny.
They're
And
so small. And it's
they're-
just like, I'm hungry for more.
and they're always problematic
And they're always
at
problematic.
beginning or end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So next episode, Mimi Kennedy is going to talk about how much she hates having sex or something and how they only did it once. Okay.
And then look at the devil spawn it produced.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if you'd aborted Daddy Masterson, the world would be an objectively better place. Might be an objectively better place if you do a post whatever abortion too. Okay, a post-birth abortion. So here we go. We then cut to Scotty Jean singing Old MacDonald on a Farm
This
to
was
amuse
funny.
everybody.
This was funny.
Everybody is miserable. And we also see for the first time on the show a lot of background players.
Yeah.
None of them have lines, but the restaurant is packed of people there to celebrate Sandy.
Yeah.
But not,
and he keeps singing and when you think he's done,
keeps going.
he keeps going. It was beautiful.
And then he's like, second verse.
Yeah.
And they're like, and Stan's like, nope, we're done.
It was so good.
So then Joe brings in the birthday girl. She apologized to everybody for being late. She says hi to Tom and Donna, who don't get any lines. She also then has a little emotional breakdown about losing her job. But
in front of everybody.
In front of everybody. But this is also where we see Ray sitting at a table with the black lady, who's obviously his date, which means he's got a lady friend who's going to go to this party with him, but he still needs his chick magnet car.
Hey,
Hey,
you don't know what their relationship is. Maybe they've got an open relationship. Maybe they're poly. Maybe.
was that her idea or his? Okay, so
we can talk about that off pod.
So then she tells everybody she was fired. They're like, just pack up your Garfield calendar and go at the end of the day.
I thought the Garfield calendar thing was funny.
It was kind of funny.
Because the 90s.
Because the 90s. So younger people and people who've blocked this memory, Garfield was a major licensing thing for a while, and then they pulled it, and then they brought it back. Like, it was a supply and demand thing. Like they're actually very smart about it. Like for years, you'd see Garfield stuck in Windows, but then you didn't because they stopped making them
Mm-hmm.
to increase demand for when it came back. It never came back as big as it was. So it's probably a bad idea, but it was something they thought about. Okay. So then she runs in back. Joe goes after her, to which we get another no, 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 no. Um, Come back out. Paulie gets his other scene where he is grossed out by Uncle Mike and his stupid trick. We don't know whose brother. Presumably, that is her brother because we don't think there's another brother. There's not another brother in Stan and Joe's family, I would assume, because we would have heard about it in some of the toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Uncle Mike takes out his glass eye and puts it in his pocket. And Paulie doesn't realize that it's a glass eye.
Yeah.
Waka waka. Okay. So then they're looking for Amy. Amy's not there yet. Joe's whining to Barb about it. Barb's like, oh, I forgot. Somebody named Lisa called to say that Amy's going to be late.
Yeah.
And Joe's like, oh, she's already an hour late. What kind of kid am I raising here, Barb? What would you do?
Can I tell you, if this was one of the boys, he would not be. He would not be as concerned about this.
Well, no.
He would not be as concerned about this.
They'd be out scoring some tail. Be fine.
He would not be concerned. It's really annoying.
Okay, here you go. This can be the homework assignment you're not going to do. Is there a sitcom with a pot? Everybody Hates Chris. You watched that.
I didn't.
But when I said Moon Boy is Everybody Hates Chris, you said yes, it is. Were you just placating me?
No, well, I know what it's about.
Okay.
But I've never seen it.
But it is actually literally.
I love Moon Boy.
Moon Boy's great. Yeah.
It's great.
Not American. Okay. So where were we?
Amy's an hour late.
Leo, yes.
Yeah.
So then Joe's like, what would you do if Leo didn't show up for your birthday? And Barb's like, I'd request it.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen that little
kid?
rapist? Yeah, no.
Like, we need to keep an eye on him, but I don't want him around me.
No. Oh, right, because we don't have that yet. Where is that line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it in the kitchen before?
It's coming up. It's coming up. Okay. So then Sandy comes back in. And then she's like, okay, everybody, I'm not actually as happy about being fired as I sounded. But I'm going to go over here and everybody just have fun.
Yeah.
To which Joe then yells at everybody to have fun. And since they don't have any lines, they can just go back to pretending they're talking to each other.
Exactly.
So then Leo sits down with Aunt Amy and tells her that all of his friends think Aunt Sandy thought she was a real babe in high school. All of Leo's little 15 to 17-year-old rapist
and
male friends.
Her response is one of the more disturbing things.
Geez.
She leaps forward. She goes, I was beautiful.
I really was.
I was so beautiful. And it's like, oh my God.
That's my value.
This was so tragic to me. So tragic. And my jaw was on the floor.
That's really bad. It was really bad. Really bad. Like, even when we removed all the context, if you just saw that as a clip, you'd be like, that's so fucked up.
Yeah. First of all, she's saying it to a teenager. Second of all, it's her nephew. That's fucked up, bro.
Danny Masterson does not care that they're blood relatives. Spoiler alert for the end of season cliffhanger. Okay. No, actually, because we're not watching Free Spirit. We have yet to have any, we've got a long way actually to go for this to be as pervy as Free Spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Amy gets there with a present. I'm sorry I'm late. I had an incredible idea for a present, but it took me 2 buses to get there.
Yeah.
Please open this. It's a signed Springsteen Greetings from Asbury Park LP, which even in 93 would have set that kid back a couple $100 at the very least. Mm-hmm. But it's okay. It was expensive, but she talked the guy down.
Yeah. I think she says something about she whined
yeah,
until he
something like that.
broke, something like that, because that's what women do. Come
That's how they know how to
on, come
shop.
on, come
She
on.
also says this is a replacement for the one that mom lost in the
The
flood or the
move.
move, something, which means Joe should have known that this existed.
Yeah.
Joe should have also known that mom wanted little Bruce. So that's plenty of gifts he could have gotten her. He could have gotten her Springsteen tickets, could have gotten her Human Touch, and the other one, Lucky Better Days, came out in 92. He could have gotten her something, right? Like,
Yeah.
it turns out Sandy does have a personality outside of being DTF and
Being
being better
mommy.
with being mommy.
Yeah.
Joe just doesn't know what it is. Okay, so she's so happy now. You're the greatest. Joe was gonna talk to Amy about being late, but now she's saved the day. So she just gets a kiss on the head, and he tells Barb that he'll chastise her next time. The end.
I thought that if he was really upset, he could have had a conversation like, hey, it sucks that you were late. It's a really great gift. Maybe next time call me.
It seems like her friends had a car.
Yeah.
Also, so there's like a lie in here somewhere. So,
yeah.
But that's actually okay because he lies to her about everything.
That's
so she
true.
can lie to him about everything.
That's true.
So, home later, mom and dad on the couch. Sandy's already got a temp job lined up for Friday. So
that's the nature of temporary employment.
She's
right?
going to go a day without work. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, you work for the temp agency.
Yeah.
You want to do a good job at your placement, but
maybe the project they had you working on is over now.
It's done. It's
like
why'd you bring your Garfield calendar in there?
Yeah.
Like, there's this whole problem with the show is Mr. Mom was about Terry Garr being a
busy executive
lady, not a fucking temp. Yeah. And the reason they do that here is so they can demean Mary Page Keller while she's the one with the real job. It's just so fucked up.
Can I tell you something really quickly as an aside? I often, until recently, would get Mr. Mom and Mr. Nanny confused.
Wow.
So when we first started talking about doing the show and you had said, oh, it's Mr. Mom, but on TV, I thought of Hulk Hogan. So this happened again, and I Googled it. And did you know that Paulie, the actor who played Paulie, was in Mr. Nanny? He was one of the kids in Mr. Nanny. Is that fucking weird?
Did I know that? No, I didn't. Is Hulk Hogan still alive?
Yes. He's dating a Scientologist.
It's a shame that racist piece of shit isn't dead. Okay.
Well, just because he fucks Bubba the Love Sponge's wife and uses the N-word doesn't mean that he's racist, right? He's got tons of black friends. Have you ever seen the WWE? JK, everybody, he's a fucking racist loser. But he did fuck Bubba the Love Sponge's wife.
I don't know who that is.
Well, shame on you.
Was he on a sitcom? Okay.
No, he was a shock jock DJ in Florida.
I mean, maybe he deserved it then. Like, I don't like.
You've never talked to my husband, have you?
Have I ever heard your husband's voice?
Have you? Maybe.
Maybe in the distance, in the very far distance, once. Do you want to meet my coworkers?
No.
No. I was trying to get my voice low enough. Okay.
He's so funny.
All right. So I bet he likes sitcoms. Okay.
No, he doesn't. He likes them less than me. He thinks that this is a great idea for a podcast, but he's like, why the fuck would you watch that shit? And it's like, it's the point of the podcast. Fucking idiot.
We wanted to do good stuff, but then Emily just started picking.
Did you? Did we want to do good stuff?
First. We did Freaks and Geeks first.
No, we did a Free Spirit first.
But we didn't know that was going to be.
Oh, I did.
You knew it was going to be as bad as it was.
I knew it was going to be bad.
You knew it was going to be bad. Did you know it was going to be about
I
getting
didn't know that teenage boys were gonna
your
want to
housemaid to
lock girls in their
right
room,
to murder
and dad was
random
gonna be complicit. I didn't know that.
right.
I just like Corinne Bohrer.
I
She's
do
so
too.
cute.
We can watch The Flash. She's on The Flash.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. So they're on the couch. She's got a new temp job, but a couple days, everything's fine. Nothing can ruin your night. But now that means it's time for Joe's present. It's the thought that counts. The thought is, I'm sorry. It's got beautiful wrapping. I hate to open it.
Yes, it's all this, it's these like really kind of dark jokes about how they both know the present is going to be bad. So I thought it was kind of amusing that they kept making those jokes without cracking a smile.
But then we don't find out what the present is.
But then we never find out what the present is.
And
I
then
think you're
has,
right. I think it's Marcellus Wallace's soul.
And then he has a second present for her, which, oh, and we forgot to mention this earlier. Ray offers to sell him the white convertible.
Oh, right. And he
doesn't do it.
But the second gift, he presents a small box, which could be jewelry. Like, it could be keys to a new car.
It was a key to a car. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so this resolves. It's all in a bow. It's all in a bow. No, it's the receipt to return it. And she's like, thanks, Joe. That's what I really wanted. So
how about you not get her anything and then just give her the money and let her go spend it?
It's her fucking
and why?
Money too.
Yeah, like why does she have to ask you for the money? Oh, I mean, if it's going to be so thoughtless, if you are a bad present giver and I have a bad present giver in my household, because mostly because I will buy anything that I want for myself for the most part.
Also, he's a man and men don't shop, men buy.
But like, why even go through the charade of it? Especially the present didn't even happen in this public setting where you can be demonstrative about it and like, I got you this thing that you hate. You know, it's like it seemed very pointless, except to be incredibly sexist. Yes. The entire thing.
Okay, so that's how you sum up this show. Yeah. It's entirely pointless, except to be incredibly sexist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe's life. Like, that's it. Joe's life. Or it's incredibly pointless, except it's also incredibly sexist. Like, but it's, okay. This is episode 4, so we have 6 more to go.
6 more to go. Next week we'll be halfway through, though. That's good. Oh, why am I on this? I was looking for the next episode. So we're almost halfway done. That's something, huh? The bad influence. Uh-oh. Joe stands up for Leo's bad news buddy Josh until he starts to date Amy. Oh no. What are we going to do? Alexander Polinsky. He looks familiar.
So much editing to do. Just so much editing to do.
Teen Titans. Charles in Charge. Oh, he was the cousin Oliver of Charles in Charge. This kid.
Sure, Scott Baio taught him to be a rapist.
So. Oh, great.
There you go.
Great. And hanging out with Danny Masterson just reinforces it.
Danny Masterson trading his cousin for a baseball card. It's going to be a great episode, everybody. It's going to be great. I'm sure Joe's not going to be problematically overprotective. It's going to be fine. Maybe the kid thinks mom's hot, so she'll like him. Maybe we'll get a scene like that. Yeah.
Maybe he's only dating Amy to hang around Amy's hot mom.
Can you imagine how thrilled Mary Page Keller would be with that? She'd just be so excited.
I think the actress would not be.
I mean,
the character might be.
Must have been a trip to work. It must be a trip to be an actress now, but it must have been a trip in 1993. Only more than 1992, or just a little bit less than 1992. And every year previous to, I don't know, probably 1922, when there were still women making movies by themselves. Once again, this is a show that Emily picked. I wanted to do something nice like, I can't think of a good example right now.
Let's do another BBC miniseries, or not BBC, British miniseries.
I had to tell somebody, be careful when you Google British people yesterday. It's like, be careful. Don't Google that name with Brexit.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, they're fucking garbage. But I did get to tell them about John Cleese's Faulty Towers comeback. So I got to talk about that. We can do
Fun.
that. We're going to be able to do that show because that's not going to get a second season.
Great.
Whatever. Cancel culture's a. It's going to be against the law to use the words cancel culture. No, wait.
It should be against the law to use the word cancel culture because it's fucking annoying.
It's annoying and it's not real. How's that going to work? I don't know. We'll have to wait for next year's Supreme Court drops. Anyway, everybody, go watch an Alan Arkin movie.
Go watch an Alan Arkin movie. I know that it's maybe a little hackneyed, but I love Little Miss Sunshine. He's so funny in that.
He's so funny in it.
He and Abigail Breslin are adorable together.
I don't know if he ever did any sitcoms, but they might be funny. He did the Kaminsky Method.
Oh, did he? Oh, yes, he did.
And that's pretty good.
I've not seen it, but it's on my radar.
It's pretty good. Like there's a lot of highlights to it. And it is the least shitty Michael Douglas has ever been. Like as a human being, it seems like because Michael Douglas does not give off good vibes.
Well, he, eating all that pussy, he got throat cancer.
I was more thinking about the time that he was like, my assistant's going to accuse me of sending her pictures of my penis and I need to get ahead of this. And my wife says I didn't do it. And then the woman never pursued anything. So it was just him on deadline.com after Nikki Fink was gone, obviously getting a glowing sort of whatever coverage from them and how he was trying to get in front of, he takes Me Too very seriously, but this wasn't real. He didn't do that. Catherine Zeta-Jones wouldn't be okay with that. And then you look up things Catherine Zeta-Jones has said and you're like, wow, she's a monster.
Is she? Oh,
she's terrible.
Oh, so disappointing.
Well,
I love
guess
her.
What?
She's so beautiful. How can you be bad if you're that beautiful?
Okay, well, anyway,
send me a bunch of news articles. I'll start hating her now.
I don't send you anything. I don't try. I let you. Was she in a sitcom?
I don't think so.
No, she was not on a sitcom. I don't think she's ever done. If she's done television, it's only been Prestige, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. Next week we'll be back.
Next week we'll be back watching episode 5 of Joe's Life, which is called. What did I say it was? The Bad Influence. So unfortunately, it's going to be heavy on convicted rapist and Scientologist Danny Masterson. And I'm guessing it will be full of really horrible toxic masculinity.
Yep.
Great.
It's going to be fine. However, maybe there'll be a thing where Amy's like, Dad, you can't get on me about this. You married Bob when she was 17.
Maybe.
Zoinks.
Maybe.
Wait a second. So she's 32 in 90. Okay, so she would have been in her 20s in 84 for the vest. Okay. That's all I got, Emily.
All right, that's all I've got too. Thank you all for listening. See you next time. Bye.
Well, I'll see you in television land, Emily.
Oh fuck. I'll see you in television land.
It's like an episode of Dracula the series around here.